Beers and bets. Beers and bets. Beers and bets. Beers and bets.
Yo, yo, yo.
Hey.
Welcome back, y'all.
Almost
Beers and
here,
bets.
baby. Almost here.
We're one day away from football.
Just one.
We're going to talk AFC today. We're going to preview the whole AFC.
Yeah.
We're going to spend most of our time on the AFC West, which includes Chiefs, Broncos, Chargers, Raiders. So let's just start with the Raiders. Can we agree that they're going to be at the bottom of this division? Does anybody have any disagreement there? Can we just kind of get them out of the way?
All I got to say is I hope you're right with that.
Yeah, because the Broncos could be the other possibility.
Last year, yeah. So, I mean, I don't have much to say there. To be honest, I think they're a mess. And I think the Jimmy G thing, we'll talk about it in like years, and we'll be like, we knew that was coming. It happened. Like, they are the team that would sign Jimmy G after all the shit that's happened in San Fran. He's never been good, right? Like, he had one good year.
And he doesn't have he doesn't have enough to work with for Jimmy G to be actually good. I mean, he's got Devontae Adams and Hunter Renfrow and Jacoby Myers. I just don't think the Raiders have enough to support Jimmy Garoppolo being your quarterback in this division.
Nobody does.
They just pissed off Chandler Jones. He just wanted to come into the facility to work out, and they locked. It was locked, and nobody would answer their phone to let him in.
Yeah, that's a bad sign.
So now he's like, "Fuck this team, I want out." Basically,
yeah.
They're a dumpster fire.
On a side note, with football being back, it's great that it popped up. And a shout out to Sling, because they are doing the red zone option this year.
Oh, yeah. Thank God.
So if you guys are looking for a red zone,
recommend.
Yeah, recommend Sling.
YouTube TV or whatever.
I'm just going to buy everything on YouTube this year. I'm going to buy the Sunday ticket.
Be a little pricier than the Sling option.
I don't have Sling.
But Sling also gives you NHL Network. And,
I don't have Sling. Like, you can't download the app and fucking.
You can cancel it.
I don't know anything about it.
But like,
don't do Sling in Kansas City.
The minute you cancel it, like after the football ends, you just cancel Red Zone and it's done. Like you're good. And it also gives you MLB Network, ESPN.
It's nice to have though.
Pac-12,
like with the guide and everything.
Sports, yeah, dude. I have it up here now. And the other day they were playing an old Blues game when Brett Hall came back and played them for the first time with the Red Wings. So like, there's some, I don't know. Shout out to Sling for that shit. Yeah, I had to do that because they
shout out to Sling. Sling's what got me and my brother to the Super Bowl. So we're all about Sling. So
right on. They should sponsor the podcast someday.
Hey, this next segment will be sponsored by Sling.
But before, that's why I brought it up, because on the NFL Network they had a clip of Chandler Jones stiff arming.
Yeah, just throw it back.
Just fucking putting his face in the dirt.
Forgot about that play.
That was such an awesome play from last year when Jacoby Myers throws it backwards to Mac Jones. On a backwards lateral that made no sense. And Chandler Jones picks it off and just fucking plants Mac Jones in the dirt. Might be my favorite play from last year.
Maybe, yeah. That's
probably.
And I was like, dude, I hated last year, the end of it so much. And I saw that clip up there and I'm like, oh, I forgot about that. I'm like, dude, can you imagine the fucking locker room bill after that shit?
Fantastic play. So
we got rewatching it.
So we all got the Raiders at the bottom of the AFC West. And at the top, like I had Chiefs at the top, and now this Travis Kelce injury is making me a little bit nervous. And I love the Chargers. Everybody knows I love Justin Herbert. The Chargers are going to win the AFC West this year. It's going to happen. The Chargers are going to go 12-5, 13-4. The Chargers win this division. You guys try to talk me out of it. The Chargers have a good offense and they have like great players on defense too. Their defense should be better this year. Somebody talk me out of it.
Why is their defense going to be better?
Well,
it should be better. Why is it going to be better?
You got Joey Bosa, Derwin James, and Khalil Mack. They got rid of that white linebacker that sucked. What's his name? Tranquil. They got rid of Tranquil in the middle of the defense. What's his name that used to play for the Patriots, the cornerback they signed last year that was hurt?
Yes.
He'll be back.
Everyone you keep naming gets hurt. Khalil Mack.
Samuels.
Whatever.
Asante Samuels Jr.
Is Asante Samuel.
But
no, Joey, you can't put him above Joey Bosa.
He gets hurt.
You cannot.
Does Samuel get has he been hurt?
I like production.
I only played 1 year. He only played 1 year, so it's hard to say.
That's what I mean.
You're crazy though. The whole your obsession with the Chargers, they don't play winning football. Bottom line. They're a bottom 12 defense that loves to air it out 50 times a game because they have no running back. Their offensive line can't get 3 yards when they have to. That's not a winning football team. That's a team that wins 9 games and puts up fantasy stats.
Yeah,
I think they win the division. I think this is the year the Chargers break the curse. And they are a cursed team. Like, they miss field goals. They lose games they should obviously win. Like, see the playoffs last year where they were winning like 27-3 and lost to the Jaguars in the playoffs.
Yeah, I remember. The Jags are dope. I had money in that fucking game on the Jags and that shit. No, I like the Jags, so we can get into them at some point. But my thing would be on that. You said tell me why they're not. Their head coach is why they're not, and that's why they haven't, and that's why they fucked up with the Raiders a couple years ago or whatever. At the end of that one, didn't it go to OT or whatever the fuck all that was, and they missed out on
the tie game situation. Yeah.
Their head coach is the one argument I would say to you that, like, I don't trust him, man. I don't. I think Herbert's good, but I think
so. I'm saying not a good football team like that.
They just get injured everywhere you look. Because then I didn't even think about it till now, but like Keenan Allen, you go to their offense, like you got
Mike Williams.
They all get hurt. I mean, Eckler hasn't, but again, how long are you going to count on this scat back that fucking? Yeah, I don't know. So my thing would be their head coach is the reason I don't think they're if they could be a playoff team, and I think they have. If they've made it at least once, right?
They made it last year, but then they blew that fucking 3-touchdown lead in the playoffs.
A team like the Jags elevating up higher than what the Chargers are going to do. I think the Chargers are kind of just going to be what they are. And if anything, get worse. I think they should have fired that coach at the end of the year. I think.
Yeah, the decisions were questionable.
Yeah,
I can agree with the coaching decisions being questionable.
Yeah. I mean, they were tied for 12th in points given up. The only team with the worst defense in that division is the Raiders.
Yeah,
so there's a clear tier there. I'm not saying the Broncos
still like them, dude. I love Herbert too much.
Taking over the division. But look at the way teams match up against the Chargers.
You just like the name He-Bear.
Justin He-Bear. He's just out there slinging it.
Yeah.
Okay. So if not the Chargers, though, who's your guys' pick to win the division? Is it Chiefs?
Yeah, unfortunately.
This is the easiest. This is one of the easiest to call.
I've had that, but I'm hoping with all I can that
a bone bruise is not going to fuck up their offense.
I know, man. But
I'm glad it's not an ACL, to be honest.
Wear and tear as a whole could be what that bone bruise or whatever is a result of.
Or could not go away. Kelsey could be hurt for longer than we expect him to.
He's the same age as us, so
and the number of games played.
I don't want to get hit like that.
Games in the playoffs and all that kind of crap. Now, Mike, our biggest fan, our T-shirt man, Money Mike, Boat Mike, Captain Mike,
our best sponsor.
Got off the last podcast because he said that my mom said that I was saying something about I'm going to burn down Kansas City or something like that. So Mike was like, I can't handle it. And I was like, did he actually turn it off? And she was like, yeah. So I want to make sure he knows, hey, I'm giving Kansas City respect to the fact I do think they have a chance to win the division. I'm hoping my Broncos can, but in reality, I got to, I just think wear and tear is going to, the Patriots were rare, man, to be able to do that like that for that long. I don't know if, already with the Chris Jones or whatever shit and all that stuff, there's a lot of moving parts there. And you got Spagnuolo and Andy Reid aren't getting any younger.
Speaking of Jones, do you think the younger Bosa signing his deal and ended his holdout helps or hurts? Because that was a huge fucking deal.
It forces their.
I don't know. It sounds like to me, from what I've heard, that Jones wanted to match Aaron Donald's contract, and the Chiefs offered him a fraction below that, and he just wanted to be the highest paid D tackle in the
Sure.
league, which he's got an argument. Like, he's got an argument. I don't think he's Aaron Donald, but I've said it before. I think he's the second best to Aaron Donald as far as a defensive tackle, an inside
Positionally-
defensive lineman.
With Bosa getting paid, does that do you think an agent then can go to him because they don't even play? Do you look at the D line like that, or would it be like,
Well,
it's a completely because
it's a little bit different. It's a little bit different because Chris Jones is interior,
pass rusher,
and
and-
Bosa goes and gets you fucking 17 sacks a year.
yeah,
He gets you a
exactly.
sack a game or more.
right?
you
And that's
know?
a game changer.
So it's a little bit different.
yeah,
I think
was
it's more
wondering-
like Quinnen Williams and some other guys signed earlier in camp and got big money. That's what Chris Jones saw was these other
Yeah.
interior guys that are not as
But-
good as him.
Right on.
Chris
Now
Jones
getting
isn't
paid more
asking
than
for. He's not asking for like less than Quinnen Williams. He's asking for more than Quinnen Williams, and
Oh,
he's
yeah.
asking for what
No, I bet
Aaron
more than
Donald
he
got,
can.
and it's tough
He's
to ask for
asking
what Aaron
fair
Donald
market
got.
value. That's fair market, though.
Yeah,
Really.
Another-
I mean,
Another moving piece that again makes me love what I know they've gotten to, but it's like all this shit, and you got players not buying in. Like Mahomes did the thing and said, "I'm going to take a little contract, like less money. We're all going to work
Right.
together. We're gonna, and you got the first time, Chris Jones is the man in the Super Bowl and all that shit. He had a couple of sacks that, I think he had 15 or 16 last year, right? Like in the season.
a good year. Good year.
Yeah, and now he's already being like, "Hey, I want mine," and this is what happens, dude. And it takes a special organization like New England had, or a couple of cameras behind a sideline. But I mean, either way,
but here's where I disagree a little bit as far as like Chris Jones' mindset. Like, look at Travis Kelce. He's making half of the money that Tyreek Hill is now, and he stayed with the team, and he's like just as valuable to this team as Chris
Took a
Jones
pay cut.
is, and he's
Took a pay
making way less money.
took a pick.
So,
That's my
like,
point.
why not just be that dude? If you're making
No,
over $10 million a year, just be
That's
that
exactly
dude.
my point. That is my point. I'm saying that there's got that whole philosophy can work when you got guys that want to do that, but when you get guys like apparently
He's got his
Yeah.
rings.
They
He doesn't
want
give a
their
shit.
money, dude. They don't,
Now he wants
to get
paid.
They don't. They know that they're not going to be the guy once
And he
everything
deserves
comes
it.
to
I
an
can't
end.
blame
Like
him for
Mahomes
it.
and them, Kelsey, they'll be paid. Chris Jones won't be the dude. They'll get rid of him quicker. Like Albert Hainsworth or whatever the fuck for the Patriots. Like,
Or honestly, like,
you're
do
seeing-
something crazy and trade for Aaron Donald. Trade for Vita Vea from the Bucks and fill that
Vita Vea.
hole. I
Don't
mean,
they
Vita
wanna
Vea
get
is
better?
Vita Vea is not as good as Chris Jones, but he's
Yeah.
pretty damn close.
I fucking called it. He's gonna find a way to bring
Oh
the
my
goddamn
god,
Bucks
dude!
up.
Oh
I
my
fucking
god!
called it.
Oh my god! How long?
What are we, 10 minutes in?
How long
Or
in,
12
dude?
minutes in before I mentioned
man,
the Bucks?
Seahawks was on, dude. Oh my god! They just told us. Oh, holy fuck! That's great. Oh,
You literally are in the wrong.
I mean,
fucking,
Trade for Mike Evans while you're at it. Why not? Give Mahomes somebody to throw to.
What's Antonio Brown up to? Man?
yeah.
But
Oh, that's fun.
okay,
That
so
was
you guys both got the Chiefs winning the division.
100%.
Second place.
Broncos.
You think the Broncos outdo the Chargers this year? I just don't see it yet. I think it's going to take one more year with Sean Payton.
I think it would take
I
another
really
year to
do.
make a push at Kansas City, but I think Sean Payton will make us at least compete with enough. We might end with the same amount of wins or whatever, like right around them.
Yeah, 10 wins, 10 wins.
I think we'll make a push for the play. I don't know. I mean, again, you could be right, and we could be. I'm just really excited to have. I'm like Tim Tebow. I'm just excited.
Yeah.
Excited.
I mean,
It's like,
the Broncos preseason didn't go great either, though, because they lost Tim Patrick. Jerry
Yeah.
Jeudy had a setback where he's going to be out for
supposed to
maybe
start on
3-4
Sunday.
weeks. You think
They
is that what you
just-
heard?
That's what, NFL Network.
He's going to play on Sunday?
I talked with Adam Schefter before we started because he wanted to give me some notes.
We'll see.
He told me Entourage is a great TV.
There's a reason they didn't put him on the pup. He's not going full.
Yeah, he's not going to miss. He's not going to miss more than 4
He
weeks.
was doing individual
Yeah.
work. So
Yeah, it definitely said there was
I-
something on the bottom that was like he is not ruled out. It was like he is almost like likely to play type shit or whatever. That's what
Okay.
it said.
I wouldn't
Right.
start him in fantasy.
No.
Wouldn't start him in
No.
fantasy.
I
Okay.
at plus 600, I think I'd take I'd throw $10 at Denver to win the division. I don't know if $10 with the Chargers at plus 300 makes as much sense because I think they're pretty similar teams.
I think the
Do you not
Chargers
see it
are.
that way?
I think the Chargers are a little bit.
I guess.
Well,
because like
I think the Chargers are.
Defensively, we're better.
Yeah, defense. I'd go Broncos, but offense. I mean, it's Justin Herbert, and he's got Austin Eckler, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Josh Palmer.
Who?
Josh Palmer? You don't remember Josh Palmer from last year?
The fact that you have to say you don't remember.
He's rattling off like obscure number 3 receivers.
I know.
Quentin Johnson, the first round wide receiver they drafted.
Johnson, who a lot of teams wouldn't even take in the first round. Yeah.
Dude, Herbert will make anybody look fantastic.
Yeah, when they're down 21.
I mean, bottom line is like really, if we just dumb it down, I trust Herbert a lot more than I trust nowadays Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson was bad last year.
Further, I trust Sean Payton a lot more than the Chargers coaching staff.
Yeah, I do.
That's true, and that is a kind of back and forth battle. Like, you trust one quarterback, you trust one head coach.
I mean, it comes down to the.
I mean, I agree. There's more unknown with Denver, a lot more unknown, but I don't like. They picked up a couple white guys in the draft. Drew Sanders, the linebacker, and Riley Moss, the corner. The only white corner in the
Riley
league.
Moss. That's a good name.
For the Denver Broncos, Riley Moss at Iowa. But
my boy, dude, fucking right.
And that dude's like 6'2". So he's gonna laugh like Quentin Johnson. He'll just eat him up.
But yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah,
those will be good matchups. I don't think either of those teams are the Chiefs, though.
Yeah. You don't think the Chiefs get dethroned? It would be fun though to see the Chiefs have to settle for a wild card and play some road playoff games. Wouldn't that be fun?
If they're actually a struggling team, can you imagine the numbers Mahomes will put up? He'll throw like 700 times. They'll just never run.
They'll do what they did last year and have some dude act like he's dying in the middle of a fucking game. So the game gets canceled and it gets.
That wasn't even a Chiefs game.
They get home field advantage. No, that's how they got home field advantage by them losing that game.
Dude, the Chiefs did not talk to DeMar Hamlin.
That's how they got home field.
Yeah, Brad needs to exit the scene to grab a drink for this day.
He knows it. That's the fucking truth.
That's some conspiracy theory shit.
That is not. That's what happened. That's how they got home field. It was because of that game. It was
but they had nothing to do with it, man. You blame the NFL for that.
Yeah,
you don't blame the Chiefs for that.
If the Bills would have won that game, then they would have had home field. They would have taken over home field.
They would have.
They canceled that game.
Yep.
So they didn't. How many teams? They lost home field advantage because of that game, and then they had to go.
But you talked to Roger Goodell about that. You don't blame the Chiefs for that.
What? No,
you blame the fucking. That's Roger Goodell.
I played the guy playing possum.
The guy that almost died. All right, here's where that take ends. Let's shut that down.
Listen,
no, the dude fucking almost died playing football, and you're saying he was playing. I almost died
watching this fucking Super Bowl.
We need to not go there. We shouldn't go there.
I don't know about all that, man. I'm not buying it. And go back to your thing about, do you think a coach makes is it the coach or is it the quarterback?
Is it the coach or the quarterback? It's a good question.
And that in the AFC Championship game, I think it was one of the ones the Chiefs won, so it would have been, I don't know, it's been like 18 now. But they Mahomes got hurt and they brought in
Chad Henne. Chad Henne.
And he ran for a first down on a big 4th-and-1. And
like 3rd and 13. Yeah. He ran for a first down. Yeah.
So it's a scheme more than it is the quarterback to me. Like Andy Reid had that guy knowing what they were going to run, and it really didn't matter who was throwing it because those plays were developed by the guy that was calling them. You know what I mean? And when you look at guys like Taysom Hill and shit with the Saints, I mean, he's made people be quarterbacks that aren't really. So,
yeah. If Sean Payton can do it with fucking what's his name, Taysom Hill, he should be able to do it with Russell Wilson. I've never been a Russell Wilson guy. I think he takes too many sacks. Like he makes it difficult on his O-line. I just am not a fan of his run around, do everything on a like improvised play. It worked for a few years for him.
I liked him when he was the guy that looked at it like he's proving himself, not, coming to Denver Was this on the headset before the podcast?
This is a
We were
perfect
talking
fit,
about
I
this.
think. Personally, I think Russ and Sean Payton are a perfect fit.
It's like Drew Brees kind of to me. He's a short guy.
Yeah, but he doesn't like to get rid of it quick like Drew Brees did. Drew Brees, he'd get it and he'd fucking
Drew
get
Brees,
it out.
I think you're thinking of like late in Drew Brees' career when he had no arm and all he could do was hit the slant route to Michael Thomas.
Or
He
check it
used to
down to
fucking
Alvin Kamara.
He'd take some shots, and just the way they're built to run the ball and go off play action, that sounds a lot like what Seattle used to do with Russ. Instead of last year, where he was just like, nah, that's not how. I don't know. I think he's tailoring the offense to a quarterback instead of the other way around.
What pisses me off about Russ's game and like the whole thing is that you look back and he won and he had good years. And like at the end of the game, the numbers would look good. And I'm not comparing him to Tebow, but almost in a Tebow way, like that NFC Championship game against the Packers, he threw 5 interceptions in that game.
And they found a way to win. Yeah.
He threw good passes when it counted, but when like the game, like if it's a good team and they don't have the Legion of Boom and shit, like a lot of those wins weren't even the Super Bowl game. He had 5. I think
you throw 5 picks in the NFC Championship game
and
and
the Super
win.
Bowl against the Patriots, I think he had like 5 completions in the first half of that game. And that was when that Chris Matthews dude that like had come from a Foot Locker and like walked on practice squad guy.
And he was security or whatever,
catching shit over everyone. Like Russ was just throwing it up double coverage. And they're like, Chris Matthews, this guy.
Yeah, I remember that dude.
And here's a guy that comes out of nowhere. Collinsworth sucking his dick. And it's like, dude,
of course.
But it really, that game, and then it came down to that tip ball to Curse. And and then he throws a pick to lose the game in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So when it came down, I don't know, man. Like he was a part of a good team. Like again, it comes down to the scheme. Not, it's the quarter or the coach, not the quarterback.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. We really will have to wait and see. Yeah, we all thought Geno Smith was no more than a backup, and last year he played great.
We just thought he was a gambling addict that gets punched in the face a lot or whatever the hell happened.
Yeah. Well, should we move on? I mean, we spent a lot of time on the AFC West. You want to move on to AFC North? Talk like Bengals, Steelers, Ravens.
Sure. The best division in football.
Well, let's all throw it out there. Who's winning the AFC North? I got the Ravens winning this division, Brad. The Bengals, I'm worried about Joe Burrow. He's coming into the season a little bit hurt.
Until you picked him to win the division.
Yeah. I got the Ravens. I think the Steelers are going to be good. I think the Browns are going to be competitive. But the team I trust most would be the Ravens. I like Todd Monken is the offensive coordinator of the Ravens now. Jameis Winston threw for 5,000 yards and 30 touchdowns with Todd Monken as offensive coordinator. If he can't they were like 8-9, maybe worse.
That's not acceptable in Baltimore. 8-9 doesn't win a division.
Lamar is much better than Jameis, Brad. So if he can get that out of Jameis, he can get something similar out of. He is. He definitely is.
Tebow's better than Jameis.
Huntley's going to start for a team someday.
Who's worse than Jameis? Should we play that game?
Baker.
Second time he brings up the Bucks.
You'd rather have
third time.
Here we go. Yeah, fucking Bucks. But
Jimmy, who do you got this division?
I gonna go Bengals again. Hold on, I have a question, and like this is bad on us, but like you guys would know more than I. Is because I know in that AFC Championship game, dude, and as that season wore on, like their O-line was beat to hell. Like, did they do anything kind of to like revamp that shit?
Yeah, they got Orlando Brown from the Chiefs. They got a new left tackle from the Chiefs, Orlando Brown.
Not even near.
Brad knows him well. He's known as a run blocker, but he did all right pass protecting for Mahomes in Kansas.
He did, but Broncos with them signing that, they thought their other left tackle, Jonah Williams, would just happily slide to right. He's all pissed off, so he wants a trade.
Well, so it's like you're hating on the Bengals no matter what. So I'm trying to.
No, I'm just telling you what's going on with their line because I honestly, it's 50.
Joe Burrow has made it work with worse O-lines.
They're able to manage, and
I'm just worried about the Joe Burrow injury. Is what I'm concerned with.
I think he's fine, dude. I think he's cool.
He pulled a calf in training camp.
Scare me, dude. I don't trust Lamar to play.
It's not a hamstring.
I really don't. I really don't trust Lamar.
It's a calf. I think is what it is, Brad.
That's my point. I'm saying if I worry more about hamstring injuries. Like you look at Cooper Kupp right now, he's pulled that hamstring twice in 6 months. It's like that's the kind of shit I'd stay away from.
He won Super Bowl MVP. It was like,
no, Bengals are fucked because they're not going to be able to
That's
stop
the last time a white receiver wins MVP.
Well, Edelman did it too, but I'm like, dude, I'm done with. He's done, and you knew it was coming. Yeah. Like Stafford, that whole thing. It's like, I hate the way that all worked. It's just
I can't. It sucks so much that they won one. It really does.
Like
I don't like McVay. I don't like fucking Kupp.
I don't mind McVay actually, but
I feel like good for Stafford. Right? I feel good for Stafford getting one.
I hate the Chiefs, man, but
he's kind of annoying though.
Stafford, I love. Yeah,
he's not
like his wife's always talking
on the podcast because his wife does a podcast, Matt, at the Entourage podcast. It's called Action Park Media, but like Kevin Connolly from Entourage owns the studio, and they do the Victory of the podcast, which is the Entourage one, and then Stafford's wife and E's wife do one there too. And dude, he's come on. Like when they won the Super Bowl, they were all fucked up on the podcast, like at 3 a.m, all blackout, and thought they were all cool. And it was just like, man, did that feel like a real Super Bowl to any of you? Like you look at the Bucks when they went, well, that was Tom Brady, so that would be weird too. But the Chiefs, like when they get one, and with Mahomes and the fans are actually into it. Like when LA got that, it was just like, what the fuck? You got like.
Yeah, and it was even in their home stadium, and it still didn't even seem like anybody cared.
Yeah, it was like Jalen Ramsey.
They should have stayed in St. Louis. That would have made us all feel better.
We would have never won a Super Bowl then. Yeah.
Well,
Brad, who do you got? AFC North. Are you going with your team, the Ravens?
Yeah, Baltimore. I think once Roquan Smith got there, that defense changed.
Yep, they're going to have to wait for what's his name, cornerback, to get back. Yeah. Marlon Humphrey. Yeah.
Should be back in a week or two. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, pass rush is pretty strong. I think they're like only 4 teams gave up under 20 points a week. They were one of them.
Yeah. I like the Ravens to win that division. And let's all give our thoughts on the Steelers.
Overrated.
I would
extremely overrated.
Like Steelers playoff contenders or not?
0.
I would bet them to make it.
I think they win 7 or 8 games. I think the AFC is too good for Tomlin to make it happen this year.
Tomlin's amazing, but
too many better teams.
Kenny Pickett's not very good, and that O-line is terrible. And in the AFC North, that is not a good thing.
I think there's too many better teams in their division, in their conference. I don't think the Steelers make it to the playoffs.
Do you think the Steelers are going to have a better year than the Browns?
I'm honestly, I think I got them right in the same place. Maybe
who finishes last? That's kind of the tough one.
I'd say the Browns.
I trust
because I don't want to root for the Browns. I don't want to root for the Browns, so I'll say Browns are the worst.
But again, what Deshaun Watson are we going to get? Are we going to get the MVP guy from Houston, or are we going to get the guy that looked worse than Jacoby Brissett last year?
Yeah.
Because
he was terrible last year.
If you put a decent quarterback with Nick Chubb, even a halfway.
And the Browns got some players on defense too. Like
Myles Garrett.
There's not a terrible team in this division. This is not the NFC South where all the teams are terrible.
Or
all the teams are pretty
like the
solid.
AFC West, really. It's a kind of like similar to that. Competitive.
I just don't think there's one
teams
crap show like the Raiders, But yes. Kind of like how the NFC West used to be when they were all competitive.
Crazy is like the Browns, you always, like you just said, like there's no shitty, like obvious shit one, like the Raiders. But then with the Browns, like they might be, and we don't even know it's coming yet. It always happens.
The Ravens could be.
Yeah.
Brand new offense.
I don't think the Ravens will be. I don't
know, because this whole O-line is built for power run. All of a sudden, in 1 year with the same O-line, now we're spread it wide and pass.
Lamar helps that.
I remember what happened in St. Louis when we tried to change offense overnight because we got Tavon Austin. It did not work. We put him in we scrapped it. Yeah. 3 weeks later, he's running dives up the middle at 160 pounds.
Dude, he was
in the NFL.
You guys
got
think
fucked up in high school? Like,
you guys think we can cram AFC East in the last 5 minutes? AFC
That
East,
shouldn't take long. Yeah.
Buffalo,
Bills,
Miami, right?
Bills, Dolphins, Patriots, Jets. I'm gonna like go almost against my brain here. I'm gonna say the Dolphins win the AFC East. Tua stays healthy. You got to cross your fingers. But I think
Cross your toes.
I think the Dolphins have a better roster, top to bottom, than the Bills. I think they do. Like if you put Josh Allen on the Dolphins, it's obvious. And if Tua stays healthy, that keeps them close enough to be a better team. I like the Dolphins roster. I mean, they're so dangerous. Like even if they go against a good defense, like they got enough weapons to.
Because nobody's
just
talking about
burn
Ramsey down there.
Yeah,
Because he's starting the year hurt, but
they still got Xavier Howard though, man.
Yeah.
So
it's a good team. That's where I'm not buying the Jets. You got the Jets?
I'm going Jets. Yeah, I
No
think
shit.
will make the difference. Like they were 7-10. I'm looking here last year, so
Yeah, they had a good defense.
3. I think you could add a couple, like not be 6 wins to it. I don't think that A-Rod makes that big of a difference, but I'm sure a couple of those games were against the Bills, and I don't know if the Jets won either one. You know what I mean? So there's could have been losses to them, but so yeah, yeah, man. I don't know. I'm excited for that. I think that like they were pretty up and coming last year quietly with nobody at quarterback. Like we didn't know. It was like
the Jets got a great defense. Great
Mike
defense.
White and
Sauce Gardner, whatever the fuck his name is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, they had offensive and defensive rookie of the year.
Yeah.
Sauce and Garrett Wilson
or whatever too. Like yeah. I mean they have, and then receivers like
who some were hyping up like
I think
how Bijan got some hype this year. There was some hype for him like that out of Iowa State, right? A year ago.
He was
kind of the dude coming out.
Yeah.
So I would do that, and let me see what the odds are at that real quick. That would be it. Yeah, see there. I mean,
plus 450. No,
consensus plus 250. The draft FanDuel is plus 250. Whatever this is. It's
we're
like
all getting heartburn.
Consensus sites, man. VegasInsider.com. Do you guys ever use that one? Because
to find odds.
It has DraftKings on here at 120 or 270.
Yeah, it'll give like DraftKings and Caesars odds.
It gives you all yeah, I like that shit. But yeah,
I think people are sleeping on Buffalo again.
I just think Buffalo is like again, it's kind of I don't know.
I don't know. We've seen Buffalo like fail, so like win the division and then fail so often. I feel like everybody's instinct is to turn on Buffalo.
I thought when
so you're high on the Chargers, but you're low on Buffalo.
Yeah, right? Buffalo's been better the last couple of years.
Buffalo basically a better version of the Chargers?
Yeah.
Buffalo's better than the Chargers. They're better than the Chargers. I can't really dispute it.
They're better, but they're the better version. They don't run the ball. The only difference is Josh Allen runs it. But neither team gives a fuck about the run. They each have big names on defense, but they're going to give up points.
I'd say the Chargers have better skill position players, but I still wouldn't make a case for them being a better team. Well, I mean, you got Keenan Allen, Mike Williams.
Do you think Gabe Davis is better than Mike Williams? Like not fantasy football, real life football. Gabe Davis is better than Mike Williams?
Not a chance. Not even close. Gabe Davis has played like one good game in his career. He scored 4 touchdowns in a playoff game. That's the only good game he's had in his career. He disappears.
Okay.
Mike Williams has had
Mike Williams
hands down. Stephon Diggs is
he's better than Keenan Allen.
Yeah,
he's better than
Stephon Diggs is better than Keenan Allen.
He's better than both of them combined, which is
but the combination of running back, wide receiver 2, and tight end. The Chargers are way better.
And Diggs are better than any combo that you could put together with the Chargers.
Now, Eckler and Herbert are pretty.
Gabe Davis had over 800 yards and 7 touchdowns last year. He's been in the league 3 years with Buffalo.
800 yards receiving is not impressive.
He's had at least 6 touchdowns every season. 800 yards. I bet Mike Williams doesn't scratch that most years because he doesn't. He had
more. He had more than that last year. I guarantee.
When he's healthy, he doesn't play every year. Gabe Davis plays 16 games every year.
We're under a minute. Do you want
Gabe Davis drops a lot of passes also.
I like their tight ends.
At least
Knox
he's
and
on the
Kincaid.
field.
Yeah. I mean, I'm admitting, Brad, that the Bills are a better team than the Chargers.
We're under a
but
minute. I don't want
this year, things could change. All right. Cheers, y'all. Let's call it a day.
This year, baby.
Yep.
One more day.